You can't make a podcast with pictures.
It's good. The cheekbones.
Yeah.
How long has it been since their skin has felt the air right there? It's got to be weird.
It is super weird.
Mm-hmm.
My head feels so light. It was a year. I had that thing for a year. And I'm like, if we're gonna make it on YouTube, I can't just look like Mountain Man Jack anymore. I gotta
You
look.
say that, but that's like that was your look. That was the thing.
I know, right?
I was
If I
like,
was with an advertising agency or some kind of modeling company, I'd be sued for alteration of my signatures or whatever the crap is. But since this is a YouTube channel run by some Yahoo who used to have a beard, I can do what I want.
he's gonna grow it back out. We know we will. He'll grow it back out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I got the goatee thing going on. I like that. You know, I might get the full beard back. I went to the store yesterday and I saw all these mofos with beards, and I'm like, wow, beards are really trendy right now.
Oh, now there's a whole wave of beard attractiveness. Like, don't like you don't have a beard. Beards are pluses. Like, not only that, but you know what else? There's all kinds of beard products now.
Yeah,
10
yeah, I
years
have a
ago, you
lot
couldn't
of
get
them.
beard lotion. Yeah.
I had Viking beads that I could put in my
Yeah,
beard.
see?
Yeah.
Viking beads.
So
Wow.
anyway, basically I shaved it because I was sick of it being pulled. Like I'd be at work and on the truck and I'd go to grab something and I'd lift my head up and it'd pull out, or my daughter would lay on my chest and I go to move my head to look at my phone or whatever and it'd pull. So bye bye beard. Sayonara. Domo arigato. Thank you for everything. And for those of you who saw us in Mandarin, we don't really speak Mandarin. That was brought to you by AI. Because I'm going to be upfront with that.
I was impressed by my own AI voice. I was like, wow, I'm really good at Mandarin. This guy's like excellent at Mandarin. He was just like,
I don't even know. I really didn't backwards translate the video, so I don't even know if we're actually saying what we're actually saying. I just hope that that's okay for the Mandarin community and we're not actually being offensive. So if we've offended you at any point in all of our 32 videos thus far, I think it's 32. Anyway, I apologize. Please let us know in the comments section and I will follow you back.
question. If our original translation didn't come out, is that apology even going to work? It's just even like, if we offended you, die, you pigs. Like, it comes out like even like the opposite way. And we should just let it lie. We were like, and speaking of which, if you were offended, good, fuck you. You and your grandparents. Like,
we just went full America right there. Yeah, you know what? Come get some. Come get it, man. America. No, that was a sincere apology that you were just like, what if it translates to fuck you?
Well, it actually reminded me of one of those like movie scenes where someone like, oh, I got this, and they speak something or whatever.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, someone's like, you just said like you wanted to goat fuck or something. Like, yeah, fuck their goats or something.
Oh, I just saw that a little clip from the Mayans way back, like the spin-off from that one motorcycle show. What was it?
Oh, Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, that
Yeah.
one. There was it's the Mayans, so they're a Mexican biker club, and the guy walks up
cool,
to the
yeah.
bartender and he asks her, "Do you speak Spanish?" And she's all, "Yeah, I speak Spanish." And he's like, "So what's up with these dudes over here?" She's all, "They're the local police. They don't tip for anything." And he's like, "Oh, okay," you know. And he was trying to find out information on the low, whereas the white cops were like, "Hey, biker," blah, 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 trying to goad him into a fight.
Yeah.
And then he's all, "You officers have a good day. I was just asking her where the best chain or bar was, or whatever the heck." Whatever he made it an excuse for. And he's all, "You pussy biker." So anyway,
Just like that.
just like that. Just like that. Oh, out of frame, into frame, out of frame, into frame. Yeah. Gotta sport that. There you go. Nerdcore. I like the blank shirts though. When I get on here, I like the blank shirts.
You do you?
Yeah, unless it's like promoting the edge runner lifestyle, you know? I feel like there's no brand loyalty that way. But I mean, then there's oh, that's on the other side too. Ha, cool.
I think nerddom, nerd fandom is much
Geekdom.
more geekdom. Okay. Oh, that's what it is.
How about that? I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. Like 90% of this.
So that reminds me of something I was going to get for the studio. So into gems, stones, and crystals, as I call them, because I can't call a quartz a gem. It's weird. Anyway, maybe they're all gems. Anyhow, Wayne was violently obsessed with these cicadas. So I came across a little lapradite cicada.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna get a couple of those. That'll be
I was looking into some AI art. Like, I wanted a cicada screaming into the void because I think that's a quote that we have on here. And if not, like, we want our mascot to be a cicada screaming into the void, because what else is a hour-long talk show that or podcast that, you know, is probably going to help you just come to grips with your existence, right? That's a fair
yeah,
statement.
that's good.
Yeah. What else is a better representation of you coming to grips with your existence than a cicada screaming into the void? And the AI art was funny and cartoony, but it didn't go anywhere because I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And it didn't translate well, and I couldn't save it at the time because I'm improving my digital skills, my computer skills, you know? For most people, they're like, well, it's so easy. You just da 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 da. Well, you've been doing it all your life, and I've been digging holes all my life. So there's a difference there.
It's like you always said. It's like your character in an RPG or a real role-playing game. You know, you have your different stats. So I mean, you put all your points into one skill, and you're great at it. Cool, but do you even know what a stick shift is?
Yeah, well, I mean, can you parallel park a semi truck? I can.
Nope. You put a gun to my head. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I had to do it to pass my CDL. Anyway,
His CDL, his real estate license. He's an
I'm
electrician.
gonna let
too,
that go.
by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm not a licensed electrician.
Not
Don't ask me for advice.
Licensed journeyman.
I'm not a licensed anything, actually. Come to think about it. Like, if we were to
Landscaping?
go on the World of Darkness scale, they have dots from 1 to 5? I'd say that most of my dots are in like the 3-4 range, depending on the category.
Okay. Yeah, so
It's
you
never like
advanced to
full
vampire.
5. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I mean, again, too, like realistically speaking, not a lot of people have full fives. Maybe one.
Yeah,
You know,
people
it's-
that actually devote themselves and get a doctorate and whatever, good for you. Go
Yeah,
get
like
a 5.
the master judo artist, cool, but they have no financial skills and they have, et cetera. I mean,
Yeah,
don't,
they
but I'm just
lack
saying.
in other places because you can only devote so many hours out of the day to learning new skills, learning a trade, or any of that kind of stuff. Or you could take years and do this job. And then you can take years and do this job. And then you get a good understanding of it. I've lived my life trying to fill in my character sheet dots, to tell you the honest truth, in such a way that if the zombie apocalypse were to happen, people would be like, you don't have any guns. And I'd be like, yeah, but I can grow you acres and acres and acres of food.
Viable skill.
So that's kind of where I've sat at. And then also, if you needed home repairs, tinky ticker. Oh, I don't want to say it. There's an old school term called dickering, where you're just doing little tasks that need to get done. Dickering.
Sounds like
Look it
when
up.
I'm doing stuff at home, just dickering
That's
around
exactly
today.
that's exactly what it is.
Sweeping some dishes,
Yeah, yeah.
dickering the floor,
Yeah, swap out a breaker, swap out a ceiling fan.
That sounds a little bit more above dickery to me.
No, that's dickery.
High level dickery, I guess. That to me would be a
That's
whole
your like
project.
4 dot level dickery right there.
I mean, again, I was like, I'm gonna sweep, do some dishes, unload the dishwasher, maybe go crazy and clean the dishwasher filter. Wayne's like, oh, I'm changing breakers, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's above dickery. I guess it depends on your level of dickery.
And remove the baseboard heaters in our house and replace the drywall with some patch.
Yeah,
That's
again,
dickery to me.
That's a whole again.
Don't get me wrong, doing the dishes, sweeping the floors, vacuuming the floors, dusting, that's all dickery too. Hickory dickory dock. I did all the chores around the clock. Hell yeah.
So back to the time and skills and everything. If anyone for that matter, any average person across the board was given the ability to seek out their own interest on a day-to-day basis and not have to worry about the wage slave zombie apocalypse that is slow rolling, that we're all trapped in. I kind of feel like we're all in lunch line with the zombies, like they're slowly taking over. I'm serious, like it's just a slow roll. Like you're in town, they're like, zombie zone has been, changed from C4 to C3 now. Like it's just creeping closer and closer.
Oh, like what is that? Fortnite? Kids like in Fortnite
guess,
where
yeah.
the storm comes in.
Okay, yeah. It's like that. I mean, again, how many
see that.
videos you have to see, and again, not putting anyone down, but driving any corner in town right now. It's like the zombie apocalypse is happening, but instead of them running around like trying to eat your neighbor, they're just first like, spare change. Like it's this very weird kind of progression where there's going to be more zombies. I was talking to someone, this lovely lady, and she was telling me how she lives in the hood in Tucson, and I'm like, oh wow, let me see if I can guess where you live. She's like, oh, it's a bad neighborhood, etc. She lives on Broadway in Pantano. For those of you who aren't familiar with our city, that is not the hood here. That was a great part of town.
So
5 years ago.
So this city has weird pockets of poverty and well-established, and it's so strange because you could literally cross the street and it's an impoverished style of neighborhood. I don't know how else to describe it. But I think a lot of that is the whole economic system that we've had over the past 10 years where the inflation is rampant. It's gone, if you look at the 10-year scale, it's gone up anywhere from the 15 to 20% depending on what you're looking at. And then over the past short-term scale, it's only been 3 to 5%, but if you look at like the 10-20 year scale, it's jumped insanely high. So
some insider information on business. Every single business goes off of what their neighbors are doing. What's interesting, so when someone starts a trend or something, everyone kind of follows suit. All of the businesses and all of their number gurus anticipated inflation, say 10%. But they over-anticipated and jumped their prices 20%, so to say. So when inflation hit and only was 10, what do you think they did with that extra 10% margin?
they put it in their pocket.
Kept it. Our numbers are still higher because of greedy businesses. Not only inflation of the economy, but the fucking businesses in charge of the reflection of that fucking economy. It's so bizarre.
It's all a mental game.
So fucking
it's all
bizarre
a
to
mental
me.
game. Your dollars are only worth the amount of hours that you are willing to put in the work for. And that's what I learned when I went to school for business. Weird. Business administration. What do you know about anything? I know that if I learn skills like how to turn a wrench, how to change a light bulb, how to change out anything that I said earlier in the previous statements, unless you're watching this on shorts, unless I knew how to do all these electrical tasks. Because people can't take that away from you. They really can't. And don't get me wrong, customer service, coding, editing, any of that stuff is trades worthy. It really is trades worthy.
I think of it more of customer combat, but yes.
That is. Because
No one comes to you being like, hi, I'm having a wonderful day. I think you're an amazing person. I have no issues with you. And here's my small quandary. Can you help me in any way? That never happens. You personally fucked up my life. I know you did, Johnny. You 16-year-old. You voted on this, and you're the one who changed it in the company. I want your job.
Meanwhile, like their grandmother's on their deathbed fighting a cancer that can't be cured and they can't do anything about it. And then their dog just bit them because, they stumbled all over them in the middle of the night and they've got all these other background issues. But that 50-cent pack of bubblegum is now 75 cents and that's all the clerk's fault.
I love when someone addresses someone at the most basic level being like, I know it's not your problem, but just stop right there, sir. All you're doing is wasting everyone's time and your own breath.
And oxygen. There's a tree out there that you need to go apologize to because you use the oxygen on complaining about something that nobody actually can change.
That would make a great t-shirt. Just like everyone lined up going to this one tree and be like, I'm so sorry. I wasted
what is that though? One of the oldest trees in the world. Where is that at?
Oh, one of them was in Hawaii.
One of them is in Hawaii. I thought one of them was in Africa.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's the tree that we all need to apologize to.
Absolutely.
Is that grandfather tree.
Go up and I think that's a nice pilgrimage. Again, doesn't have to be religious, more of a humanist kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think we should make pilgrimages around the world. They're like, have you visited the 7 countries? What? You get to pick 7 countries and you're supposed to visit them. That's part
and
of
apologize to a tree in each one.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's some shit. Like, instead of going to college and forcing debt on people, like, this is the time in your life you need to go explore the world and really find out who you are.
I think that's why they
Like,
tell people to go to college, so that way they're not out there leaving the country and learning about other countries and other ways of life and
you know, the
other
one
ways
world
of
government,
living.
yeah, the one world government has some really good ideas. Like, I really, really, really hold on. I think that a one world currency is a phenomenal idea. I do.
Okay.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we fluctuate. And it's all stupid. We're literally like, you literally have 6 people trading and buying shit from each other, and you're like, but his economy is crappier. And I'm like, you're all like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, like last Monday, or no, 2 Mondays ago, when the market just tanked, like everybody's like losing their minds, and all the memes were like poor people, like, I don't understand, or a person who lives paycheck to paycheck doesn't necessarily have to be poor. I apologize if you live paycheck to paycheck and you consider yourself not poor. You know what I'm saying?
$400 expense. I'm just saying, like, that's the
That's the snow cap. Like if
between
you have
$400 and $600 expense. If your life is going to be fucked, or you'd have to go some extreme means, even if you're making 100 grand a year, does that not mean you're poor?
you're still a wage slave because you can't afford a $400 or $500 surprise expense.
Anywhere between that gap, yeah. You know, most people, 1,000 or less, $250. You need new tires or whatever. Like,
Well, that's why Dave Ramsey says you put $1,000 away for an emergency, and then you start tackling your debt. And I know we differ on the Ramsey philosophy, but if you go to my earliest TikToks and you see the Know Your Guru thing that I used to post, Dave Ramsey has more money than Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, he
and
does?
I understand that Robert Kiyosaki manages his life through debt and all this other fun stuff, and it's a different type of philosophy. But the net worths are big, are
I
greater.
will, I not say guarantee, but I will be hard pressed not to look over his numbers and see somewhere where and I'm not going to say the Kiyosaki way, but again, leveraging debt for more money. Again, too, like, regardless of the fact that, say, he was a millionaire, he probably took out $1 million loan to advance his studio, per se, right? And again, refinance that loan. So a lot of it is just the financial literacy,
Yes.
just
So
financial literacy.
So the one thing that I am totally against is consumer debt, and I think that's where Dave Ramsey makes a whole lot of sense.
Absolutely. Like, you should not go into debt to buy a TV. You should go into debt to buy some stock that will pay for itself in 10 years.
If the math pencils out.
Exactly. Example.
'Cause you
not
can't-
financial advice.
I was about to say, yeah, you realistically, you can't put stocks on a credit card at
20-some%.
20%, 30%, whatever it is at the time of you viewing this, but it's going to be high. And then only make a 5% return, 10% market return on average in a 10-year period. That math doesn't pencil out.
I'll give you an example of what would, though. When all the interest rates were at their lowest, taking out a $10,000 loan at 5% interest was very possible. And it's only 6, though. But anyway, story. Back to the story. So 5%.
Back to the personal experience.
And if I had not only invested in something that was just a growth stock, if I invested in a dividend stock that was pretty secure, that made 7%, I would be making 2% off that loan.
Yeah, yeah, and that pencils out, and that makes sense. When the math pencils out and makes sense, absolutely do that. For all else, consult a financial advisor, because this is not financial advice. This is just purely for entertainment.
Entertainment purposes only. So yes, thinking to myself, I want this much worth of this stock. I would like this much dollar amount. And instead of taking X amount of time to save and buy slowly, taking out a loan, buying that all at once, and possibly having it pay for itself.
Yeah, that's kind of the argument for me with when it comes to life insurance, because there's this whole IUL, whole life, term life kind of stuff.
Premium,
That's in.
I'm glad it's making its rounds. I wish I would have kept mine back when I was in my 20s.
That makes sense. But I can't wrap my mind around, why not just take that same payment that you're going to pay for the life insurance, invest it into a dividend paying stock, because you have to pay that cash out of pocket anyway. And then you're not only are you going to be able to compound and drip that stock, dividend reinvestment plan, drip that stock and just wait. And then if you need the cash, you can borrow against that stock as a loan, with the stock being a collateral. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to bat with insurance companies right now because I think that's one of the biggest bullshit businesses in the world. To tell you the honest truth, like, come at me, bro. That's my opinion. Fuck you and your insurance. I gotta edit that out. I can't do
Again,
the
it's
fuck you
all about
thing.
how you run that insurance company. I think, again, if you, how honest you are, if you really don't try to fuck someone over because of some clause in their contract. And yes, your company may lose $1 million, but that's why you have 100 million sitting around for those random payouts,
Yeah.
or whatever. But well, the whole insurance thing, though, the benefit with that is once you reach, to my understanding, once you reach a certain threshold of capital in there, let's just say 10,000, you can take a loan against it, and it's the same thing. The other loan, you can take a 4 to 5% interest loan on your own insurance that you pull the money out of, invest it, and make 7%, and then it pays the X amount difference between the two.
And
So it's
it's
all the same concept.
backed by whatever the principal is too.
And the reason why it's so secure, the insurance, is because it is a guaranteed payout once you pass on.
Yeah. And
That's
again,
it. And it doesn't fluctuate like stocks do.
no, it doesn't. Like the IUL maintains based off of the S&P average for the year or something like that. Definitely do your own research. I know we say that a lot because we're just talking out of our what we know. Actually, I think
Proverbial
that
internet asses.
yeah, I think we're just kind of decompressing and talking about what we would like to do with our own lives, and hopefully somebody out there will benefit from it.
I mean, again, it's all about, you give someone 12 things to focus on. You're going to do a little bit here, a little there. I mean, all good things, take some time. And
Well,
then on top of it, like you said, just the idea is getting people to question everything.
and kind of like figure out what's good for them
Yeah.
and personally, I think a lot of the whole impoverished trap, the poverty trap, is all of the vices that everybody has. And I'm not talking about your caffeine and your avocado toast or your what cable subscription. Nobody has cable anymore. Like your Spotify subscription, I don't think that's making you poor. What I think is making you poor is the fact that you got to go out and spend $400 or $500 at the club every night, bottles in hand, bottle service to make yourself look rich. But in all reality, you look at your bank account, you got 2 pennies to your name.
Yeah.
You know,
It's about using, more wisely the capital that you do have. Absolutely. And there's a lot of people talk about the difference between wealthy and rich. Someone who wants to be rich is the example the lady talked about, is how in a fine dining restaurant, someone who's wealthy will go in with basic plain clothes, not have any issues, be very, polite to the serve staff, leave a 50% tip. Someone who's rich or wants to be rich will come in name brand clothes and complain that the sparkling water's not sparkling enough, and treat the staff like shit. Why?
it's that I think it's the mindset shift because they know that they're spending. Okay, the person in example B knows that they're spending money in accordance with getting a certain service, and like they want to maximize their payout or whatever because
The ego payout.
yeah, because in all reality they don't have that money to spend it, so they want to like meticulously, like, I don't know, I'm just pontificating about this, whereas the person who walks in, wearing tire shoes and just wants a good meal at a pricey place that they can afford, can afford, is like, yeah, whatever, it's just like rolling up to McDonald's for me. I can't even name like some ritzy 5-star restaurant because that's not my demographic. Just saying.
It's as much limited amount of fine dining as I have experienced. Like, you don't go there for the food sometimes, the atmosphere and the ambiance, and say that you went there. Like, it's decent food. I've had great food at some place that's, mid-level. And I think that's, a really good difference.
Yeah,
Is, go
some
somewhere for the food.
I would rather go to some salt of the earth mom and pop shop that has like the best freaking steak you'll ever have, pay $20 a plate and call it good, rather than go to some overpriced, dry, tough leather steak serving $150 a plate kind of a place myself.
Yeah.
That's just my personal experience. I'd rather go to a salt of the earth place, mom and pop shop, small business that makes really great food. Speaking of food, have you seen the latest craze for the perfect Nutritional food. This is a great time to bring it up. Let's get weird. Let's get
I
like
saw some blurb about it, but I
WIRED.
didn't dive into it
Oh
because
man,
I was
so
eating breakfast at the time.
yes, yes. I love that image. I'm eating breakfast. Don't send me
I
this.
saw it. I was like,
Don't send me this. This is not what I want to see. Oh man, so I'm skeptical as shit now because I'm getting fed every single conspiracy bullshit thing out there, and I'm like, oh, is this real? You know, like, where does this rabbit hole end? You
they
know,
want us to eat bugs, so
lizard people, bloop. No, this is not one of those. It is legitimately researchers were milking cockroaches to see if it's the next human superfood, and I thought to myself, that is a load of donkey dung. So I went and I looked it up, and holy crap, people are legitimately researching milking cockroaches as the next human superfood.
is there some sort of premises behind this? So they're just like, let's pick this weird creature?
Nutritionists.
Well, I mean,
Nutritionists.
is there some like?
I
By
have
the
no
way, we
idea.
accidentally like dissected a cockroach's leg one day, and there's got so much vitamin C in there. Like, is there some sort of like? I guess maybe because and maybe we're just that culture of like we associate cockroaches here in America with filth. Versus like I'm gonna say like the Madagascar screaming cockroach is just living out in the wilderness or whatever, huge ass thing like yay big and shit. Okay,
Right
so
on. We can make that differential, but for us in the States, that's absolutely disgusting because cockroaches roll around in filth and gross places and all that stuff. And somebody out there in the world went, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna milk a cockroach.
probably that same person, or maybe was watching when that lady was like, you know, I hate to admit this, but cockroaches don't eat McDonald's. He's like, I hate to admit that I know that, but yeah, cockroaches don't eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
So when a cockroach, the lowliest creature on our planet, we assume, won't eat something that literally will eat your shit from other food and goes to a McDonald's French fry and's like, that's not food, and walks away, you might want to think about that.
You seriously might want to give some thought to your nutritional choices. Yes.
Like if a billy goat won't eat it, I mean, they eat fucking aluminum cans and shit. Like, I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, if you have a McDonald's plate left, you know, like a meal sitting there all fine dine and a goat comes up and they're like,
Nah.
I'm gonna find some cardboard. Like, you know, like I'm just questioning the nutritional value of your food. Maybe not McDonald's.
I mean, fast food burger chain. Please don't come after us because we know that you're bigger than us. This is all satire. Everyone should go eat a McDonald's burger right
Pointing
now.
out that somebody else said this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Somebody else said it.
I'm
not us. All
referencing
right, cool.
this person's opinion.
But it is
Or if
It
we
is
ever have a
sad,
legal
like the-
team, like
the
they're gonna be
people-
so busy. He said if we ever have a legal team, they're gonna be so busy.
when we have a legal team. Our legal team,
To our future legal team,
we apologize. Oh, we laugh about it now.
We're sitting there with the head of our legal team looking at him like, that was years ago. I don't
This
know.
is your job, Dan, not me.
So we hired you.
Why we had to hire you.
Yeah, that's why you had to hire us. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even funny. Like, if you go to, where was it, Denmark or Sweden, somewhere, some European country, they legitimately banned McDonald's from their country. They bought the last, whatever it was, from that establishment, and they have it in a museum saying this was the last burgers and fries bought at this establishment. Something worth looking up. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it looks exactly the same. Looks exactly the same as the day you bought it. That's a little different for me. That's a little different for me.
There was that lady who was on a couple talk shows and she had like jars of their food. And she just like, a couple French fry or a burger or whatever, and she's like, this is 4 years old.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Still like
Yeah, I miss the kangaroo meat that certain restaurants used to serve because that stuff was delicious. I'm serious, man.
kangaroos are muscular looking motherfuckers, man. Like
Yeah, yeah, and there's such a problem in Australia. They're a pest in Australia because they're so big and they're so feisty. You know, they're like yoked
Oh
And they're
yeah,
just
they're
gonna
fucking
beat
huge.
the crap out of a human. No doubt about it. You think you're tough? Go fight a kangaroo.
Yeah. Really? Is it like open season on kangaroos? You just
No,
like
it's not. I'm sure they're protected, but they're like an annoying pest because they're overpopulated. So anyway, I miss the kangaroo meat that certain establishments used to serve because that stuff was so delicious. And then everybody was like, you can't eat cute faced animals," and
the
they
cows over there
buckled.
being like, "What? Fuck you."
Yeah, they buckled, and now we get meat like product fed to us that doesn't dissolve or deteriorate in any facet of the way.
I get a picture of like a again hyperbole. Like a Joe Camel type of kangaroo guy, just like leaning against a post, smoking me like, yeah, fuck you.
A Joe Camel type kangaroo.
Yeah, so kangaroo just like leaning against the thing, like a leather jacket on, a little Australian, smoking me like, yeah, fuck you, cows. Like, like, good day, mate. Fuck you, cows. Like, bad impression. Sorry. Wait, they'd be like, fuck you, moo-moos. I don't know what they call cows in Australia. Yeah, future guy in the chair or lady in the chair. Will you look that up?
I would look that up, but my phone is being used to record because, duct tape and baling wire. That's how we get this done.
There was a whole commercial. It was something about Australia beer or whatever, and they like went through a couple of things on the Australian version of it, and it was really funny.
Oh, yeah. Foster's? Oh,
Maybe,
wait.
yeah, probably Foster's. Yeah, Foster's Australian for beer.
That was a huge commercial here in the States for the longest time. Longest time. And then real Australians are like,
That's like Bud Light to you guys. Like, what are you talking about, real beer?
that's like Bud Light to you. I was going to say it was like Milwaukee's Beast because I heard it was
I don't
bad.
drink beer, so
It was
I don't know.
real bad for Australian level of beers.
That's why they send it here.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why they send it here. They're like, Australia doesn't want it here. Australian for beer.
They're like, it's not selling here, but Americans buy it as this crazy import from Australia, and we charge them more money.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, Americans, Yanks. Yes.
And you think you're getting something foreign and what is it? I forgot the word for it. Exotic. You think you're getting something exotic, and you're really not. It's just a good draft.
I've wondered, so there's not specifically saying anyone or other, there's a couple like snack food boxes coming out of like certain countries, right? And I've
Okay.
always wondered, I'm looking at these and I'm like, are these just their leftover shit that that they're just like, let's send this to America?
The answer to that is yes. This is about to expire. Well, the American standards are pretty low. Send it to them. Yeah.
You
Woo.
know, like we could do that here. Like we got so much culture from California to New York. Mm-hmm. You could be like, here's some spices from Texas, here's
Yeah.
some whatever here, and like send it over to somebody. Don't steal our idea. Execution is the key, though.
No, have that idea. We'll meet you in the street,
Shit, like
trading our stuff.
I can see that though. Like, here's some authentic Arizona weed. From
No,
Arizona.
you can't do that. That's a federal crime. Don't do that. That's a federal crime. As of right now, it's not federally legal. Do not ship marijuana or cannabis. It's cannabis now. Don't.
I like the term cannabis better.
Yeah, I like the term cannabis. It's not as. Don't ship cannabis
90s.
across state lines if you're in the States. That is a federal offense. We are law-abiding citizens as established by last podcast.
Question though. Again, I have no idea. So this would be a legal question. Could you legally take a product that was illegal in another state here, but then ship it without crossing state lines? I guess if me in the air would be totally different to a country that also didn't have a problem with that.
No.
Interesting. See again, because you're crossing federally
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. So
Yeah, there's certain international. They figured this out. Like they don't need us to figure that out. Like
You'd
I'm
be
worried about the
surprised.
kids who are like trying to get a good idea of what to do for business, and they're like, "I will drop ship cannabis from."
don't do that.
Yeah,
The Silk
don't do
Road
that.
was a
That's
great
what I'm
movie,
saying.
though. By the way, watch The Silk Road. Good movie.
Don't do that. Don't do any of that because
Don't do that. Don't follow it. But it was a good movie.
That's a crime.
Don't commit crimes.
Don't commit crimes.
Don't commit crimes
Ever.
ever.
Anyway, I was working for one of these big shipping houses, and they would catch this and they'd destroy it, and then they wouldn't destroy it. They'd give it to the authorities who would destroy it after they did a thorough investigation. But yes, there are systems out there to catch people from shipping contraband, even though it's legal in one place to the place where it's legal in the other place.
You can't have porn in certain places. Corn. You send someone corn.
Yeah, you can't.
So again, it just depends on there, and so it's all about where you're at and where you're from. Anyway,
Follow
back
the
to
local laws and
microdosing.
regulations.
Microdosing. You could buy spores from psilocybin years ago. You just couldn't cultivate them. That was the legality of it.
That was a loophole.
Yeah. So again, for scientific purposes, you can look at these spores under a microscope at your house, I guess. Don't grow them though. That's on you.
When you give the winky face, I'm pretty sure we've got our legal team puckering up as we speak. They're just like, why did you do that?
Allergies?
Allergies.
I guess the burden of proof in a legal case is on the prosecutor, so.
I gotta make sure I'm in the frame a lot. Yeah. The burden of proof is on the prosecutor. God.
It is.
In this litigious society, how many lawsuits do you want to rack up in our first year of doing this podcast? Let me count the ways.
Honestly, it really just depends on how much we could spin that for views.
For entertainment purposes only. I love how our like regular workout conversations has turned into this podcast, and we're just like, this is just for entertainment purposes only. But really, we do have these kinds of conversations, whether or not the camera is off. We just have a lot of less looking at the camera and doing this.
Oh, the translated version is going to be great. Ooh, you know what we could do? Someone out there, if you could make some sort of way to like translate accents, because having like a Southern accent, a New York accent, that would be great. Because as much as we don't want to think about it, in the span of land that we have, certain states are as big as countries. So if you think about it, dialects, accents are almost different languages in a sense.
For us here in the States, that's from our own experience here in the States, because we are actually an international podcast now. We can say that we're international. International.
It's crazy.
Doesn't that have a good sound to it? It's like,
it does.
Oh. And then there's somebody out there with, 3 million subscribers going, what do you mean international? You can't have a podcast without being international. It's just the standards for the day.
It's kind of like we're coming into a pool party where everyone's already wet, and we're like just still walking around in our swimsuits being like, how's the water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got the weird Hawaiian t-shirt on. Like, hey, what's going on?
So either you think that person's like weird and eccentric or fun as fuck. Like that's the only like variation you can't go.
Yeah, and you don't know until you talk to them and you're like, I really don't want to talk to that person because if it goes south, it's going to go south real bad.
Oh, I'm so intrigued. They could be the most amazing person. That's the confidence you exude when you wear a Hawaiian t-shirt out of the atmosphere.
What's that on The Simpsons? There's only 2 kinds of people that wear Hawaiian t-shirts. That was from way back in
Really? Okay.
way back in the day. Way back in the bigoted days where this
Whoa.
could be a thing.
Okay.
I do not have this opinion myself, but this is what I heard on The Simpsons. 2 kinds of people that wear Hawaiian t-shirts are either party animals or of the homosexual persuasion. I'm trying to say that as PC as possible. I don't know what the current PC term is. Please educate me on what the current PC term is, but that was...
I see the party animal thing, but I don't know where a Hawaiian t-shirt would play into someone's
It's the one where
sexuality.
Marge is...
That's interesting. Okay.
It's the one where Marge takes bowling lessons from the... Oh, God. From the guy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, it's fun. Go back 20 years. Watch it.
All their new stuff's crazy. I can't not trip over one of those The Simpsons knew about it or...
Yeah, The
told us
Simpsons
about
predicted
video.
it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So many different things.
And we're sitting here going, huh? And I'm like, I need to watch The Simpsons again to figure out what's going to go on. Oh, man. Speaking of the cabal and everything that's going on, this is the last episode that we get to talk about the 2024 Olympics. Did you see this?
No, I was watching reality, but go ahead.
Did we talk about this?
The shooters?
No, not the shooters. The all-seeing
the sausage
eye.
pole barter?
The all-seeing eye and uniforms of the gymnastic teams from Israel. It's an all-seeing eye. All of the gold medalists, all the medalists actually just holding up their gold medal to their eye.
Are you fucking serious?
I am dead serious. This is a thing that came across my rabbit holes going down. It's like, it's a little weird that this is a thing. Maybe it's an initiation process. Who knows? But it's one of those things where I was like, and then they're milking cockroaches. So
If I got to be part of the world's coolest, most exclusive club and everyone else was a plebe,
we are plebes.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, just waiting for that card, they're just like, you've come Excellent.
You're either with us or against us. I will hold up the eye. The triangle. Now we just look like weirdos. Again, everything that we just said about finance and personal destiny and all that stuff, all of that credit has been discredited because we're like tinfoil hat time.
I don't think one discredits the other. Again, just like the other gentleman was talking about having, he had some good financial advice. Was I a little curious about his character because he has got some interesting contacts in, and it looks like he lost a fight to a Sharpie marker, a permanent Sharpie marker? Yes. However, I am enamored by his gross income in the last 4 to 5 years and how he's able to.
That's what I've been talking about.
Yeah.
No bones about it. We bring this for your entertainment value and our personal profit. We actually have a Patreon now. So you could say, find us on Patreon. We don't have squat on Patreon, but we're on Patreon. Maybe we'll have some stuff. I don't know what kind of exclusive content we're going to give you, Maybe that's what we'll hold the health and fitness stuff that we talk about, because those videos do really well.
Well, honestly, again, too, like there's from the whole span of Patreon, I want to say commercials I've heard, or whatever you want to call it. Not everyone offers special content.
That's true.
I'm thinking of, and again, forgive me if I'm wrong, shoe on head. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I cannot recall. You do say support me on Patreon, but I don't recall you ever saying there's any extra content, which I'm fine with. I am perfectly fine with that. Your content is already great. It's all more of the less just getting supporters. Maybe you have less supporters because you offer less things. However, $1 a day will feed this hungry child.
The Toast of the Wyrd. You can find us at the Toast of the Wyrd on Patreon, and you can give him $1 to feed him for a year because he needs it.
I've lost 25 pounds in the last few months.
And not in a healthy way. That's all personal stress.
Grief diet.
The grief diet. It's really sad. And I wish that I was bullshitting right now and it was a joke, but it's not.
Not a joke. But you know what, though? Looking at everything in a positive way, I got to experience the benefits of fasting.
Yeah? Did you feel more energetic after a few days?
I with the whole lack of eating because of grief and everything, like I've gotten used to not eating. Like I used to eat right away, and I've gotten used to like going for some stomach growls up to a certain point where a lot of people talk about I go as long as I can without eating is what I hear them say.
Yeah.
I feel different. I do. I feel that my ability to withstand hunger is greater, and the more you research into the fact that we aren't designed to eat as much as we've been told we're supposed to eat, there's a lot of different benefits. As thin as I feel, I have been complimented by multiple people on how my muscle structure is predominant as it's never been.
So when you eat, are you like crushing 2,000 calories at once? Do you just find yourself uncontrollable, just like, oh my gosh, and then you stop and you're like, ah.
I don't regulate like that anymore. I'm not like calorie counting. I kind of just feel out the hunger, I want to say.
So what kind of, I know this is really ridiculous, but what kind of foods are you eating when you're like, all right, it's time to eat?
It's still some of the same. It's still, the raw chicken, or not raw chicken, but basic plain chicken.
Don't eat raw meat. Whatever Mike Tyson tells you,
sushi's good.
Don't eat raw meat. Chicken, no, there's no such thing as a medium rare chicken. Don't do that. Fully cooked. Okay.
I'm looking at that one. No, but I mean, I still eat pretty well. I just don't eat as much or as often. So again, my caloric intake is way less. But I feel pretty, for example, and this blew my mind, folks, when we were in our prime, like rock climbing every week, like really good grip strength, and I could feel it. I almost finished an 11A, like almost, like I was pretty good at it. When I went back after years, I destroyed the 10 set like nothing, and I tried the 11A, and I finished it very sloppily, though, hanging on the rope a bit, but I was amazed at how much strength I still had.
Yeah, that's that old man strength that I'm always talking about.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, maybe I'll get a 10A. I destroyed them all like they were nothing. Those are grades of climbing, folks, for those of you who don't rock climb.
For those of you who don't rock climb, the 11A is one of the most difficult runs. I think it goes all the way up to 12. There's some 16s, 13s.
I mean, I'm 100%.
There's 12s and 16s out there on the professional circuits.
Little knobs, yeah. But I mean, I was impressed at myself. So again, maybe the smaller amount of body fat, like again, strength. As I don't feel like we're as fit as we were during that time.
No, because
Like,
of
you know,
deterioration, muscle deterioration, and all that stuff. Atrophy.
not
Muscle
just that, but
atrophy.
again, like we didn't have the personal relationships we had now. We like we worked out like,
Hmm.
you know, and it was almost a good what, 10 years ago now, maybe 7 years
At
ago.
least 8.
Yeah, that we were
At least
doing
8
that. So
years.
I was just amazed. So
I saw a fun fact. For every hour that you work out, and this is coming from somebody else, do your own research. Don't take it as my golden rule.
we're gonna get a
For
sign that says "Do your own research." Be like, bing.
ding, maybe that editor will get the thing. Boop, do your own research right here. Boop.
I don't know. I still like
None
some
of
of
that
the
will
like.
happen. Just the authentic.
Well, again, we've got like a little table full of signs, and you're all like, "Not financial advice." Dude,
Do
that
your
would
own research.
that would basically make the editor's job a lot easier.
It would look so
The
hokey.
lowest budget we could ever learn. Like, how are these guys making all this money? And they're like, it's their authenticity.
No, man. If we start making money from this, I'm gonna pour that money back into it and just make better and better videos like Mr. Beast style. Sorry for the trauma that Mr. Beast is going out. Anyway,
But I don't want to say lose what makes us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, like if we have something and it's going well, like I like some of our authenticity without the money or whatever involved, and
Yeah.
some of that, you know, we get bigger and stuff. You know, maybe
Anyway.
we'll do those walking podcasts. We'll walk around and like give a homeless man a bunch of money and film it.
No. I'd much rather just give homeless people money and nobody know about it. And then that crazy old man will be like, "Did you know that the Toast of the Wyrd gave me $10,000?" And everybody will go, "They don't do that." And
we
he'll
make
be
him
like,
his own
"I'm
podcast.
crazy, just like them."
Crazy Joe podcast, and then we'll get him fans, we'll get him monetized, and then we'll be like, hey, by the way, check this out. Could you imagine
Right?
that real story? You're like, and then
Just
you release
Prop
it.
up some homeless dude who's
Anyone?
down on his luck and just be like, "Hey, we know, come on, work for us. It'll be cool."
Go some single mom and make her have a channel. You know, like all kinds of shit. You never know.
That'd be
That would be
cool.
cool.
That'd be cool to
Instead of
support
just
people.
giving people money, you're like, hey, by the way, I grabbed Susie Joe from the grocery store and took her through my 6-week freaking class, and now, by the way, she was able to quit her job, and yeah. Or I could just give her 10 grand.
All right, back to the stats that I totally made up after I watched it on the internet. For every hour that you work out, you get 3 hours of life, is what the old man was saying
What?
in an interview. And he was like some 93-year-old cat who was like still spry, still mentally with it, and still going. So, diet, nutrition, and exercise is not exclusive of each other. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's kind of like driving your car around all the time and not putting oil in it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you maintenance your machine that you're driving, this meat suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Listening to some of the other guys who are like, David Goggins kind of a thing where he's like, I stretch for 2 hours
Yeah.
or 3 hours minimum every single day. That dude destroyed his body. Literally broken feet, running, broken shins, like all the crazy crap he's actually done and not told us. And he's still up and with it and moving and just like, it's mentality, you know? That stuff is to be admired. And, you know, those are like, that's the whole where I was keeping up with the know your guru kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that you want to look at. You know, it's like, what is this guy doing? Where did this guy start? What is he doing? And where is he at now? That's the kind of thing that you should really look at. And I hope that people who are new to the channel are looking back at these videos going, wow, these guys started out on the street talking around a truck.
On
like,
the street.
Literally on the street. Like, there's the street right there. You just heard the cars going by. Last week you heard that chainsaw for an annoying amount of time. I thought that the background effect would be taken out, but I just couldn't get it out and make it sound clean. I'm just
If we
saying.
were still big and we had someone editing, in my mind, like what would be really cool, that chainsaw noise. Imagine like a little like chainsaw characters coming on the board, being like on your screen or whatever, just for some dramatic effect.
Just
You
for
can't
funsies.
control it, yeah. So we might as well,
Just add
use it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just
Some annoying
saying.
guy in the background, like a little cartoon guy, like we're talking, you just like see this little cartoon in the back. He's all like, I mean, use it. Or right there when that truck rolls by on the screen, just have like a little like truck coming by.
That's what we need. We need a chainsaw guy sign, little truck sign, and then we need the animal sign too. The birds that fly by that aren't on camera will just be like, birdie. Whoo.
That's awesome. I wish. Like, some
Please
stuff
excuse
in the
this
studio.
dead air while we admire this hawk just decimate that pigeon. Nature Nature is awesome. I actually thought that this would be kind of cool to take our podcast into like up into the mountains
Oh, yeah.
with the trees around and
That would
just
be
sit
cool.
in some chairs and bullshit.
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so dope. Anyway, most of our references can be found on our Facebook page. That's a thing too, because I was just thinking about badass counseling, I think is what it's called, and I put them up on our Facebook page.
Do you want to do like goals with money? Like, for example, we got our first Patreon goal. Me and Wayne bought tacos.
Just do some eating videos. No, I
No,
think
no,
we
like
need to niche
again,
down.
too. Like once we get to a goal, you're like, oh, by the way, like I don't know. Like I would really like to know some. Like I really like when some of my gurus or whatever they explain their finances. They talk about that kind of stuff, or some sort of insight. You know, like that'd be kind of cool. You're like, thanks to you folks and all your Patreon support, we now have new mics. You know, something like that.
Do a new camera.
Yeah, see, that
That'd
would
be
be
cool.
kind of cool, you know. So maybe it doesn't have the same effect when you have millions of subscribers and you don't really give a shit. But you know, when you're low end and you're like, hey guys, notice the change? Thanks to you.
Notice the change?
Your comments really hurt. Cringe. I'm just kidding.
And that's why I'm following you, John8952, if that's your real name. Not really. If your name is actually John8952, don't find me in the street. That's not going to be a thing.
If we get that famous, we can't wear headphones around in public. Like again, another goal, you know, like certain things don't seem so bad, you know, retrospect. Like
Right.
which comedian was it? He was on his Netflix special being like, cancel me. Do it. Do it. I'll go back to my country where I'm like super famous. Like seriously, he was just like, do it. And again, he was talking about, he's like, oh, I'm good enough to get canceled. Fine. He's like, I got canceled. Like he was just like, again, it's all about how you go into it.
There's a real shift in the comedy space where everybody was like super tight and super
Oh my
woke,
God,
and
yeah.
now I think people are starting to relax a little bit because there are people out there who are like, I'm sick of male straight white comedians, and that guy is actually suing that talent agency. I'm not going to name names, but that is a story that I heard where they were like, we've had enough male white comedians. We're not going to hire you. And he has a defamation suit against them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like someone perhaps involved in my work who said to a specific person, we have enough, it's all females in that position. We can't have any more. And I was like, excuse me, you told them that? I was like, wow, man, you're
That
fucking
is-
stupid,
yeah.
aren't you? Yeah,
Is
that
some
person's
shit.
under review. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we've gotten to a point where if it's funny, it's funny. If it's entertaining, it's entertaining. Let the market decide. Let the free market decide.
This is what I have to say about some of that. I have watched some comedians in certain genders and demographics kill because they are funny people. I've watched other folks that appears they just got a slot for certain reasons that literally had no fucking business trying to do that. With respect, what you want versus what your reactions are from other people, like,
Well, there are some people that can do like the small town comedy club, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and rip. And then there's some people who can not do the arena but can do the small town comedy club. I just said that backwards, but you know what you getting the drift?
Yeah,
Like
kinda
there are some
know,
people
yeah.
who can kill in the small market, but they can't scale to like the larger market. And that's what I was saying. We need to niche down. We just need to find our niche and do it, you know? We need to be a masculine example for the younger people coming up who have all of these really weird things to look up to, you know? Like I see it as a joke all the time. I am a cis straight male white person, and that's how I identify as. And I'm the last of a dying breed or some shit like that. And it's like, okay, we've created a space in our society where people are afraid of being that, but you can't say shit. You can't say shit about that because otherwise you're being a bigot when you're trying to stick up for yourself. And that mentality to me has got to stop. Like if equality is equality, then shut the fuck up. You want to be called Jane and last week you were called Joe? Great. I will call you Jane. But don't piss on my parade because you were hurt by somebody who looked and acted like me. Was that me? No, it wasn't me. Get over it.
I'm going to circle back to the whole comedy thing. I think it shows in your own immaturity emotionally and mentally. If you go to a comedy club, get offended, and then try to confront the comedian about your own personal opinion. Like that to me is just the most ridiculous shit. Let the joke go on. Everyone gets made fun of. Everyone has their time to laugh at somebody else. It's just your turn. And again, nobody makes you angry or embarrassed. You do that to yourself.
I really wish I could quote the comedian right now. If it's you, it's your stuff, and you see this, let me know, because I will give you credit. But they said at the comedy club, you have two choices. Haha, no haha. That's it. Something makes you laugh, something doesn't make you laugh. That's it. And I was like, that is genius. That is absolutely true in the comedy club. Same with some kind of comedy podcast. We are in the realm of entertaining comedy podcasts. We are not fitness gurus. We are not finance gurus. We are not, what else are we into? Conspiracy theory gurus, you know? I drink my bucket of fluoride just like everybody else.
But all those combining in together is what makes Toast of the Wyrd.
There are no safe targets. No safe targets.
No safe places in the world.
Right? We're here to entertain. Haha, no haha. Like, walk away.
That to me was awesome too, because when the Minions did that, like the Minion popped up and he was like, haha, no haha. I'm serious. Like when Wayne just Papa Wyrd just transformed into a minion, he was like, haha, no haha. Because again, I swear, like one of their commercials for Despicable Me 4 was like he said that too. It was like something happened. He was like, no haha.
All right, so let's go on this. You could call me Wayne, whatever. So there are
professionalism will get better. Folks, right?
We have no professional. We're gonna come at you with our authentic selves. So, in the nature of stage names and entertainment names, they usually say like a good place to start for your stage name is like your middle name and the street you were born on.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not going to give that information out. I'll give it to you off camera. But I was like, mine would be super badass. Be super badass.
Which would be?
I'm not going to give that out on camera. I'll give it to you, Mike's Cold. And if you want to know, support us on Patreon. Your donation of $5 will get you my middle name and the street I grew up on in a private message.
Feet pics to come.
What?
I wonder the limitation of extra content you can offer on Patreon. I wonder seriously, like again, I'm not trying to. We like to spotlight the realm, to comment on it without making fun of too much, because everything is funny, but then also at the same time to be serious about it. So for you feet people out there, feet jobs, again, I don't understand. There's this lack of like gripping and motion, and I just don't understand, and whatever appendage, I guess. Anyway, feet pics, $25.
TheWyrdWolf@gmail.com.
Shut the fuck. I do have big feet.
WYRD.
Shut up. We get some comments. They're like, feet pics, please. I mean, they're hand models. I've gotten told by a couple people they like my hands. You know, like people are into shoulders.
There was an advertisement.
Like butts and boobs.
Yep, there was an advertisement for a watch model. Are you a watch model?
Some people have ugly fucking wrists.
I don't like to carry watches. I think time is an illusion, man. 10-foot halftime. Time is an illusion, man.
People who say that, I want to know what dusk, dawn, and noon are. It is a fucking illusion, yeah. But there's still, like, you know, a day does come and go, right?
They're just rates of speed that we're hurtling through the earth on our flat earth. Actually, it's hot dog shaped. I'm not going to hide my own personal opinion. The earth is hot dog shaped, and we're just flying through the universe.
I've never seen the edge of the world. I don't fucking know. I've never been to space. I had those thoughts when I was a kid, too. I'm serious. I'm like, I've never been to fucking space. How do I fucking know what it really looks like? And I love how there's no stars in space when we film. That one to me is the biggest like weirdo. I mean, seriously, so you're telling me like we can watch the motherfucker walk across the moon, but there's no fucking stars behind him?
Yeah.
Oh well, because of solar wind and the flag is still moving.
There was a picture of the moon and the earth that was taken from a launch satellite, and the number one question that I saw like going through the comments was, where are the other stars? Where are the other stars in the background?
Anything, yeah. Because again, too, in reality, it's like being in a stage having the big bright light, but you have other little lights. It's gonna fuck up your picture.
It is.
So,
It is.
have we ever been there? I don't know. All I gotta say is Neil Armstrong seems pretty upset when he's confronted by some folks, and he was like 80 years old and punched that kid in the mouth.
Dude, I'm sure if you're 80 years old and somebody's still walking up to you going, is it real or is it fake? And you're like, I can't even make it to the toilet. Just lay somebody
Nah,
out.
he seems very with it. But then also, here's one no one has ever asked them about that I am aware of. Their debriefing when they got back from the moon. Simple body language analysis will tell you some interesting stuff about that. Like, that is the most depressing I'd be like, I went to the moon! You've never been to the moon? Ha ha! No, they were just like, it's
Or they
new
or they legitimately just got back through the atmosphere getting beat the hell up on some Russian return rocket thing. Oh wait, they didn't have those back then.
No, they gave him some decompression period. They went through the whole like decompressing from space or whatever, popping out of the pod, or I don't know.
Imagine the adrenaline rush. Like, what
That's
did
what
you
I'm
just do?
talking about.
I just fell from space.
Exactly.
In a Russian return ship, whatever those things are called. I just did that. Like, wow.
They all look like their puppies just died and someone gave them a tranquilizer of ketamine. They're all just like, yeah,
Maybe they did
brave
get
new world.
truckload of ketamine.
You know, so
Delivered
that's
to them.
just some interesting. That was the most that I can't like. Yeah, there's stuff I can, cool here and there, etc. But that, watching it, knowing what I know, I'm just like, the way that they answer questions is very like, it is weird, very fucking weird.
To me, it's the whole like, what? People are milking cockroaches? You gotta look into it. You
6
just gotta
years
look
from now,
into it.
you're like, El Tortillo cockroaches, grande. I know
Why
that was
did
in
you-
Spanish.
That was
I don't know
super
why.
racist.
That wasn't in Spanish. The reason why I put it in Spanish is because it's going to be across all platforms and it's going to be everywhere. No, I'm serious. Watch, 100%. You're going to be like, my fresh Coca-Cola cockroach juice in Japan and shit. Like, oh, what's his name? That reminded me. Loki did that vitamin commercial. The actor who played Loki. You
Tom
didn't see that
Hiddleston?
shit? Yeah, he did some beautiful commercial where he's like selling vitamins in Japan or China or something like that. Exactly what I'm talking about. So again, that wasn't a racist
It's
comment.
amazing what
It
a
was more
truckload
a,
of
like,
cash will do.
dude, yeah, seriously, it's gonna be like we're gonna have our cockroach milk shirts on.
Well, that's part
Toast
of
of the
the.
weird cockroach milk.
Oh my God, we're over time, but that's part of the whole. Maybe next week we'll do it. That's part of the whole New World Order thing. They're trying to make it okay for us to eat bugs.
I have no problem with eating certain bugs. I have no problem with eating different alternatives. I think that the way we sustain our meat culture is obviously damning. However, animals taste good. They do.
They do.
And I do feel a little bad, but I think it's all about the reverence. Hold on. The movie Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah. Okay.
In the beginning scene when they kill the deer and he's like, thank you, brother, for your sacrifice. And it's the reverence of it. Like, the supportiveness and how they used every bit of the animal versus like keeping animals in their own shit and then walking them down the corridor of death.
Yeah, that depends on the type of farm that it's coming from, but maybe we'll touch on that next week, or maybe we'll forget. Tune in next week. Like and subscribe when we go over, what is that, industrial farming? And why cow farts are the absolute worst for our environment. That's it. It's the only thing. Humans don't fart. Cows are the only thing that fart that emits CO2 gas. Right?
Wow, if you get a methane reader on someone and be like, your farts are more than a cow.
Not on me, man. My kids would be
weird.
like, I told you.
That's a little too much like lowbrow. But I mean, it makes me wonder. Again, here's my question. How are they measuring the CO2 coming out of a bovine?
Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you about that.
Again, like
Next
you
week.
don't have like some sort. Anyway, well, next week, folks. Patreon for feed pics. Yes.
Popos are coming. We gotta go.